So this is Street Talk 11, and we're here with His Worship the Mayor. You're
It's so
honestly,
funny.
Mira,
A Christian.
I know, but we're in like the
We are.
equivalent of Buckingham Palace.
It's lovely.
Well,
Christian.
Buckingham Palace would be the convent, no?
Well, I don't
This
know.
would be-
I think this building is super impressive.
Sí.
I mean, from
Sí.
the moment you walk in, everything about it is just old and
There's a
and
beautiful,
history
there's a
and-
beautiful feel and
It
a
is.
great
It is.
identity
Yes.
to this building. Yes, I agree.
I mean, it's wonderful. Thank you very much. Well, we've kind of invited ourselves, but I know that you like having people
Of
here
course.
and you like sharing what you all this
Yeah.
with everybody.
It's an important part of my time here, I think, of what I wanted to do. By the time that this goes out, I won't be the mayor anymore. This is my
know.
last week, it's my last few days. So
¿Te da pena?
I know the right answer would be sí, qué pena, but I'm not that type of person. To be honest, I'm very pragmatic when it comes to things like this.
Okay.
This had its life
Right.
span. It was for 2 years. I didn't want to do it any less, and I don't want to do it anymore. And look, it was
So,
3
yeah,
years.
But you knew
It
from the
served its purpose, you're good.
It was there. I've had a fantastic time. I will look back on it. I'm sure probably the day after, and I'll be very nostalgic. But it had its time set before I started, so it's
Yeah.
not. I knew what it was going to be, and I like having moments in my life. No, it's así como un chapter. This chapter started. It's been fantastic. It's been 4 years, but I've been 2 years as deputy and 2 years as mayor.
And so as deputy, you have a role as well.
You kind of learn the ropes.
You learn the
Basically, you
ropes,
learn
okay.
the official things. Because as the role of the mayor, the good thing is that you have certain things that you need to do. No? They tell you need to do Armistice Day, you need to do Mayor's Awards, Freedoms of the City, all that. But then everything else is left up to you. Más o menos lo que tú quieras, lo que tú
Me
veas,
encanta.
as you're part of your...
That's
Sí.
part of what I wanted to talk about later
Yeah,
on.
so for me, it's been great to learn about the official things, the more protocol heavy things, the gravitas that comes with the role of mayor. And then being able to spend a lot of time trying to find out how I could fit myself into the role, no? And still be authentically me while respecting the role.
That's one of my big questions for you, because you're very flamboyant. You are interested in lots of different things. I mean, from your Gampa, from your arts, interest in arts, and this combines everything. But has there been anything that's been a challenge for you?
For me, the challenge came before actually taking on the role, because when I first accepted the role, I knew what I wanted to do with it. With regards to where I'm at in my life, because I think that the beauty of the mayoralty is that each mayor brings their own personality to it. You bring yourself, and there are different mayors that bring different things. For me, it was never going to be that serious side, not in a comedic way. I don't mean it like that. I mean that as a younger man, I'm still living my life. I've been the only working mayor. Like, I've had a full-time job. Yeah.
You carried on working
Yeah.
at your Gampa job as well.
Yeah, I have my Gampa job and I have the
I was
mayoralty.
preparing one of the questions. I
No,
was
but-
going to say,
yeah.
have you done both?
I've done both.
Or Gampa Tava?
No. I've done both exactly the same. So I have a great team on both sides. This only
Yes.
happens because I've got a great team. But I mean, we'll move on to it later. Porque no te maté el question.
No, si no era
Pero,
eso.
no, yeah.
What I wanted to find out was, how busy is it?
It is as busy, and I will go back to what I was saying. It's as busy as you want to make it. So,
Right.
for example, for me, being in my mid-40s, someone who's in entertainment, and for me, it was very important to remain authentically me, add my flavor, but still keep that gravitas that comes with the role of the mayor.
the tradition
So whenever you
behind
need
it.
to be ceremonial, that I was respecting the role, and I was respected in the role. Because it's very easy, for a recognizable person to be recognizable for what you're recognizable for. I mean, I do a lot of comedy, I do a lot of showbiz, I work with a lot of young people, but I think that's what's given that extra flavor to my time in office. But still, I wanted to wear those robes and to still be respected in the way that the office deserves to be respected. So for me, going back to that question is, what is the hardest bit? The hardest bit was accepting that people were going to call me Your Worship, which for me was a strange thing. I worked in school for 18 months covering it, and I had a problem with people calling me Mr. Santos. So I remember at the beginning, people used to call me Your Worship, and I used to say, okay, from now on you can call me Christian. And someone within weeks said, I understand where you're coming from, but
Don't.
you are the mayor of Gibraltar. you are not Christian Santos giving them permission to call you Christian. You're the mayor of Gibraltar, and the office needs to be respected as such.
So everybody calls you your worship. So
When
yes,
I'm the mayor,
I
yes,
suppose que le
yeah.
quita un poquito de importancia, ¿no?
Sí, because then parece que, exactamente, que
no,
parece que está diciendo, no, ay, bueno, venga, está bien.
verdad da igual.
Da igual. And really, it took me a while because I'm not into formalities that much. Maybe because of the field of work I come from. And I work with young kids, and I always feel that for me to get through to people is always better on the same level. So, lo que dije, I remember when I went to school, I said, is it okay to call me Chris? And everyone knows I'm Christian Santos and not. They said, no, aquí se llama Mr. Santos.
Yeah.
And for me, that's,
yeah.
I don't know, that was a bit of a problem, pero...
También lo que pasa es que a lot of the things that we have in place are still very Victorian. So it's just the
Yeah,
way
but
that
I
it
get
is.
this whole, I get this
It
whole
is.
tradition thing.
And it's
though.
funny, no? You're not going to get the king going por la cara, no, mira, Shali.
See. You have to, we've just had a coronation and you realize that it's tradition, protocol, it leads and it keeps it special because
I
you
love
see
it.
other
I love
coronations.
it. Yo me shall.
I didn't realize how much I liked it till I got involved in it.
Yo me veo todo el entierro, toda la boda. I love it. A las 8 de la mañana. I did it for the funeral
Sí.
of the Queen. I woke up at 8. I watched the entire thing, and then the moment that she was lowered in, I fell asleep. Estaba reventada.
The key moment. But mira, if you think about it, you've seen other royal weddings, we've seen other coronations, and they just don't have that. They don't have that regal feel that the royal family and everything we do in Great Britain has. Like it just doesn't.
But that's why it's so popular. And that's why it's so big.
Yeah, that's why
Because
the
nobody
royal
else can do
family
it.
is the British royal family.
That's right.
So tell me,
right.
Yes.
when they first tell you, okay, I'm not going to say too much about the royal family because
Yeah.
I it's not that I don't agree with the royal family, I
Yeah.
do, but it's all very lavish. And
Yeah.
I'm a little bit at the moment like England's going through a bit of a bad time
Yeah.
and it was all very lavish, which I understand that it has to be
Yeah.
lavish, but not maybe, anyway.
It's one of
But
those
I-
things.
but
You
I
either like,
understand-
you don't like, whatever. But
yes.
there's millions of pounds that come in as well to help the
Oh,
country.
absolutely. We had this
And
whole-
they also have their own
Absolutely.
businesses. They don't
Oh,
rely
yeah.
solely
and they bring in a lot
Yeah.
more, I think, than they're spending from what we
Yeah.
worked out. But
Yeah.
anyway, the thing I wanted to ask you was, who decides that you're becoming deputy mayor?
Ya me la quita.
Look, eh?
I was going to say, how does
I've
it
got my
work? Are you
list.
nominated? Do
Well,
you
you-
sign up?
No, you get-
Because today I found out something very random. Sports Illustrated. Vale? That magazine where they come out and
bikinis, yes.
you sign up.
I don't know.
You sign up and you have to be chosen.
I don't know.
What, to come out on the front in a bikini?
See?
But I guess
I
that's
thought that
yeah.
they would come and say, pues mira, you are fantastic at the moment.
Yeah.
Nos gusta
Sí, no.
tu message.
Yeah.
No, you sign up. And then I thought,
no.
well, is that what happens here?
No, here the chief minister proposes it to his cabinet, then they discuss it with the opposition, and then there's a motion presented in parliament, and then everyone gives their opinion on it.
And
which is
are there
normally
several
positive.
candidates?
No,
Or
they
is it
present
just
one
it's
candidate.
whittled down to the one
Yeah,
and then
it's
they
whittled down
decide?
to the one, and then they say, "Do we agree with this happening?" So yeah, I don't know how the decision is made exactly. They normally it's someone that they feel, man, you're going to represent the community in a civic capacity appropriately, or you've done enough for Gibraltar. I don't know. For me, I always wanted to be mayor. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
Yes. And I'll tell you why. And I said this at the beginning of my tenure. So I remember when I first left Gibraltar to study, and I was 18. I stayed there till I was 30. I stayed away, traveling all over the world. I did Disney and I did
Disney,
Japan.
I remember.
I did all
when
that.
you were in Japan, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in Japan for 4 years. I was in
remember
the
that.
States. I was in a cruise ship. I was in London for years. I did a lot of different things. And I realized that my identity was such a big part of just being myself. As a Gibraltarian, it's so unique that we just feel a little... I think we underestimate how important our bilingualism is, our accent is, our traditions, our culture. And when I was there, it fascinated people. I never lost my accent. I never went away and came back speaking in whatever.
Hablando así.
No. I
You
never
spoke
changed my
Spanish,
accent. I spoke.
some places.
What happens is that, remember, when I was working for Disney, it's multicultural. So I spoke in Spanish with the Latin
Claro.
American people. I spoke. And I used my identity so much so that there was 2 Christians in the cast. My first cast at Disney, when I started, that they all ended up calling me Gibraltar. So my career in Disney, I was known as Gibraltar. my badge, my name badge, everything.
Really?
Yeah, because it was two Christians. They said, "Oh, yeah, Christian and yeah, Gibraltar." It was such a big part of who I was. So for me, I'll go back to that. I always wanted to represent my community, or make up my community, our community, realize how unique and important we are. And when Kyan won Miss World in 2009, I was the producer of the show, and I helped her going,
I remember that.
getting ready.
I remember you on the balcony.
We presented her here, and I was asked to present
Yes.
her now.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
and I was helping out the organization of the welcome. So I remember standing in that balcony and looking out, and all you could see was a sea
Of people.
all over. There was not a
I
gap.
remember
in the
looking
room.
up,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now it's the first time I've ever been on the
Yeah.
balcony. It doesn't look
yeah.
so high up yet when
At
you're
all,
down
yeah.
there.
And
Miramar.
then I looked out and I thought, I would love to be the mayor because I would love to represent this,
Yes.
our people, in
Yes.
this way, where we've all got together to celebrate the achievements of one of us. And I always thought, when I'm older, because I'm good at events and I'm doing this and that. But when they called me,
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit, not a bit earlier. It
Okay,
just,
you're a bit young.
just I didn't expect it at that time. And I knew I would do a great job, and I knew I would try my hardest. And I think that's always what's going to make you do a good job. If you're passionate about what you're doing. And I thought, I just didn't expect it. And when it came along, I thought, goodness, I'm going to
Wow.
grab this and
Absolutely.
run and do the best that I
I
can.
think it came at the right time.
For me, it did.
Pero también I think socially, I think it came at the right time.
Have you changed minds? Have you changed people's views on things?
I think I've changed people's views on me.
Interesting.
Because when I first got asked to be deputy mayor, and I remember, I asked, and I told the chief minister, I'm like, chief, this is going to be polarizing.
Was it tú estás seguro?
Because I'll take it, and I can take the good with the bad, because I know what's going to happen at the end. But there's going to be a lot of people who are going to think that this is a great idea. But there was a lot of people who didn't. There was a lot of people who
always gonna
were
be
very
criticism,
vocal about it.
Really
the mayor's role
vocal about
became
it.
very on social media.
Yeah, I
there was
remember.
a meme
Okay.
going round,
remember.
and
Was it?
there was stuff happening. And I thought, yeah, okay, but this has actually now made this a relevant role. Like really relevant to the
Yeah.
people. People are commenting about it, and people have opinions on it. And I think what has happened is that people have seen a different side to me, because imagine if you're a person that doesn't know me at all, you don't know Gampi, you're sitting at home, and all you see is this guy who does comedy sketches, and he wears a wig and paints black teeth, and then he's on social media doing like funny posts, and you think this is it, that's one dimension, but that is a persona that you have when you perform. My interests are much broader, and this is what I've tried to do. Not to prove anything to anyone, but just to give people a platform to be able to showcase what they do. That's what I love doing. And I think what I've changed is the view that people had of who I was and what I could do.
Yeah. Has anyone told you? Like, I thought you were like this, but actually...
All the time. I get that all the time.
Do you? So I've met people. I've
Yeah,
met
yeah.
people who I thought like that of.
Yeah.
And when I've actually met them, so in fact, somebody was a government minister who used to work here. I'm not going to mention any names. But when I actually met him,
Yeah.
he was completely different to what I had imagined from what I see on
Yeah,
TV.
yeah. But I've had tons.
And I told him.
Yeah.
But he
How
liked
did he take it?
And he took it well. Do you take it well?
I take it well, and I'll tell you why. I strive to live my life as myself.
Why?
I want to live my life as myself. As in,
I think you
I
strive.
strive.
Yes.
No.
No. Yes.
I really work hard
Yes.
to remain my authentic self wherever I am.
Yes.
And people's opinions of me are none of my business, if you know what I mean. They're like,
that's
you can
right.
have your opinions,
That's
none of my
right.
business. And I hear it, and do they hurt? Yes, of course. Do they traumatize me? Not necessarily anymore. Like, I was a kid, the gay kid in the 90s, Like, that
Yeah.
is much harder than having people say, people see me either as a comedian or a joker. Some people think that I'm very serious, or I think too highly of myself. I don't know. I've had all different types of opinions, but really I can just live as myself, and I try and make the people around me feel like they can also be themselves. So if I change your mind about who you thought I was, fantastic. And if you don't, sorry, I can just be who I am, because that's the best that I can be. I can't be anything else.
Like I feel very strongly like that. It's like your opinion of me is very valid, but it has no bearing
No, it can't.
because you have no control over how I feel.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Do you think?
Yeah.
you've been able to be yourself in this role.
Yes, and that's what scared me the most.
Yo creo que from the beginning,
From the beginning,
Sí.
I had 2 years to train.
I think so.
you had 2 years to
I had 2 years to realize, how am I going to let myself be me and the mayor? And I realized that when all I needed to do was be myself and not add something on top
Yeah.
or take a part of me, is when I was really, I thought, I just really need to be me.
Yeah.
I can just be me. And I haven't stopped performing. I haven't stopped. Like, people think all the time, oh, now that you're going to stop me, you're going to do the Janito shows. I never stopped
But that's
because
the thing.
of that.
That's what I thought. I thought you hadn't done anything.
I
think.
hadn't done the Janito comedies, and I'll tell you why. I've had no time to write them. But I've performed probably more than I have. I've done concerts, I've sung with the kids, I've sung with Andrea the Magito Show, I've done 2 performances at the Drama Festival. I've carried on doing what I do because I think it's important for me. If I'm going to preach about being your true authentic self, I'm not going to be the first one to step back.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why I haven't done the comedies is not because it doesn't go with my role. My role is a representation of all of us, from the higher echelons to the people who might not be in the higher echelons. Like, it's the whole community that we represent. So I haven't done it because I've had no time to sit down and write. And that's what takes the longest.
I love them.
Thank you. I love them too when I do
you know,
that.
I went to see Greasy,
Yeah.
and cuando te tiraste al suelo,
Yeah, I had a tantrum.
sí, people had stopped laughing y yo todavía me estaba riendo.
We want to go to the new one that you're doing, the one of all the divas.
Oh, yeah, the concert. That's a choir concert. That's going to be good.
Yes, with all the
Yeah.
amazing female voices
Yeah.
that are being portrayed.
Yeah.
We have to go.
And we
said
have the
we'd go.
orchestra. We have an orchestra of our tutors and our students. so
Yes,
that's going
I
to be a good
really,
show.
I think we should go, you and I.
Maybe
We did
can.
mention
I
it
love
last
music,
time.
So.
Yeah.
I auditioned for Christian once.
You did? Remember, but then what happened?
Nothing.
We did. No. You did for. It was Elegies for Angels, Punks, and Raging Queens, no? Yeah, it was for a musical.
No sé. I
Yeah.
auditioned.
I remember.
Well, you didn't get it.
I'm not
You
gonna.
sing quite well.
Yes. She got
So
it.
good
Everyone
voice.
got it.
Better than mine.
Yes, and it was for. Yeah, everyone got it.
Pero
I'll
no
tell you,
pasó.
the show didn't happen because I'll tell you, I wanted to do it in a venue, and the person who ran the venue wasn't like the marketing shoulder. They didn't give us permission to do it. And then I thought, well, I'll do it at a later time, and then life took on.
Obviously. Obviously.
And then it never came back.
Is it
and it
hard
was great
to
that.
find venues, people willing?
Yeah.
Es muy difícil.
It's commitment. You can find people. Yo digo ahora, venís a hacer show Janito, me vienen 100 personas. The moment I give them the schedule of rehearsals, yeah, no one wants to commit that much. It's a lot of work.
I remember starting with the choir,
Yeah.
pero I had to drop out. But I dropped out because I was pregnant y estaba fatal.
My one.
Sí.
I was in a choir once.
Yeah.
And we sang at the John McIntosh Hall. And we competed against another choir. We
Wait,
lost.
my one?
Yes. I was in the adult choir that you formed, porque maybe
Yeah,
por
yeah,
ahí, I don't
Pero
know
yo
why.
también
made
What was it? Project Choir?
with Sue Ellen, with
Swan.
Sí, con
No,
Nerina.
Sue Ellen.
Suellen did it as well.
Sue Ellen,
Sí.
Project
Chakalunga.
Choir.
And Suan, I think, was there
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Y Nerina
And we
Cruz
went,
también
and then we had,
estaba.
and then you brought, and we had to sing. Rumor has it, rumor.
Yeah.
And then we have the 2 levels.
Yeah.
This was all
Well, I
new
was
to me.
there
but
as well. Lo que pasa es que I dropped out
Pure
early
joy.
on because I
Sí, sí.
wasn't feeling
You went
well.
to that rehearsal.
Yeah,
I didn't know you
yo
then.
estaba pregnant.
I didn't know
No.
you then.
No?
And then, so then we
Okay,
did
I
the
don't
choir.
remember.
And then we
I
were in the John
remember.
McIntosh Hall, and I remember performing my family
En el-
thinking it was
en el
horrendous that I
building.
was singing because I can't sing.
Donde
But I
bailan.
laughed every
¿Cómo
minute.
se llaman de bailan? Ahí.
Stylus.
Ahí.
Downstairs,
But on
Stylus
the
is
old
downstairs, yeah.
building.
What you're saying about
Santa
commitment
Studios,
was
yeah.
probably the reason why that didn't carry on.
Yeah, commitment.
Because we were all, I no puedo venir.
I've tried
Sí, sí.
3, 4, 5 times.
Yes, and I remember you saying, look, guys, you need
But
commitment,
for me,
otherwise...
because there's lots of choirs, there's an
Yeah.
adult choir, Philip has harmonics, and that works out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pues ya
Okay.
sabes, do it again.
Tell me about your motivation. So I've seen pictures of you, Instagram, Facebook, in the morning you're in the gym, and I go to work and you're in the gym because it's near my work.
Yes.
And I think, how does this man do it with everything he does in a day? Do you sleep very little?
I don't sleep a lot because I don't sleep very well.
And why is that?
I don't know, I've never slept very well.
Okay, so
I'm not a good
always,
sleeper. Yeah,
like
yeah,
my
yeah.
daughter, she doesn't
See, I'm not a good sleeper.
Okay.
I just don't sleep. And I recover over the weekend. So for me, making this happen, when this was all going to happen, I had to sit down with my husband and say, listen, either we do it together or I just don't do it because it's a big sacrifice. I have the best support I can have. My
Yeah.
husband is the best. Like he really is. He lets me do what I need to do. He does what he needs to do. He enjoys letting me shine because he.
Prefers not to.
What
No,
likes
you
to
know what
see
happens?
you
Like
shine.
he loves to see me shine,
course.
and he is a person that shines in his own way and not in a patronizing way. He's not a shy person. He's amazing. When you meet everyone that meets him is always like, "Oh, you're so lucky," and I am. I'm very lucky. He's an amazing guy.
He's lucky too.
Thank you very much.
Uno son una
He
monería. He's in the
is-
gym trying to come out.
Yes, yeah,
We
yeah.
can because we can do whatever we want because it's our show.
Pero que he's a great guy and he supports me. And we said this is going to be a time management exercise for 2
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
I have full-time job
Yeah.
and I have this job. Now I'm my own boss. So I can go like this morning. I went to Camper at 8 to do the beginning of the week admin. I came here. I worked with my PA. I went to a meeting with Minister. Then I went to lunch with John Gonsalves, my predecessor, to catch up. I'm here now. Then I have a tea with someone. Then I've got a meeting with something else. And then I go back to Gampa. And this is what happens. And then I go home and have time with my husband.
¿Hasta qué hora campa?
Today I'm there till 8 something. So it's fine. Pero lo que digo, okay, I can manage my own time. And then I go to the gym at 6, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning because I need
He's
to
leaving as I'm walking
do something. Yeah, yeah.
8:30. He's
See?
leaving the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I've always thought this man
I go
doesn't sleep
running,
much.
I train.
No, by
I-
that time, I am at work.
Yeah.
But I think
started
it's
my-
important for everyone to have their thing that is theirs. Do I love training? I detest it.
Yes.
I detest
Yes.
it. But it's the one thing that I'm like, this is mine, this is my time, and twice a week I go with my husband. So it's our time that we do something together, and then I need to socialize, and I need to be a son, and I need to be a
Yes.
brother, and I need to be, so I just time manage a lot. But I'm not the type of person who loves doing nothing. So I try and fill up my time as much as possible.
Yeah, so it's not hard for you.
Not for me, I
Because
enjoy
you're happy to be doing something.
Yes, I'm happy to be doing something.
What's motivated you? What keeps you motivated?
The fact of, I'm going to phrase this in a way that doesn't come up. I'm not going to say I'm an unhappy person, but I'm never, because I'm not. I'm super happy, but I'm never happy.
It's never enough.
Yes, nothing's
You're
ever enough.
exigente with yourself.
Yes, I always think something could be better. So I hate it when I do something and I'm like, I'm happy with it. And someone says, well, it's not bad. I'm like, no. No, bad isn't good. The word bad is there. So I always push things to the end. So do I have a show? Okay, I give notes until the day we finish, not until the day we open. We do the Janito shows for 6 nights, and every night I edit something out, I add something. Like the kids the same. The kids are always like, you're never happy. Even you win an award and they're always like, yeah, and you're like, that's good, it's good. Like they always laugh about it because that's my phrase. It's like we see you get an award or get some recognition and we see that face of, I'm smiling but it's not enough. And not because I'm unhappy. It's like, because my getting recognized is fantastic. Okay, you do a competition and you want to win, but it's not what truly validates the work either. So for me, when I do, like the kids are always like, we won, you should be happy. I'm like, yes, I am. But if we would change this, and he's like, and is it a flaw? It's a bit of a flaw, but it's what keeps me motivated. The second that I think, yeah, that's good enough. I think, where do I go from here?
For something else.
So where do you go if you're satisfied?
You do something else.
See? Yeah. But if you can do...
It's a double-edged sword.
But if you can do something and you can always do it better.
But does it need to be better?
Nothing needs to be better. I just want it to be better. For example, in my job at Gampa, I've been at it for 15 years. And now I'm at a point where I think, now is where I'm offering the kids what I think they really need in order to succeed out there. And I still think, oh, let's offer something more. I keep bringing people from outside. I invest in the kids. I always have to think, what next?
Yes.
What next? What next?
Yes.
Because it just makes me
Because you
motivated.
grow
It makes
like
me feel
that.
motivated.
You grow like
Yes. I think I don't want to sit back and think this is it. I'm 46. I have 15,
All your
20 years
life.
to work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can we do this better? What else can we do?
Completely
How can we
relates.
move on? But that's
Relates.
what motivates me. If not, I think, I'm going to go to work and this is the way things have worked and this is the way we always do it.
Also, you're a nervous person.
Super.
No te queda quieto. You're very
No puedo.
fidgety.
No puedo.
So that probably your constant adrenaline
Yes.
keeps you going. Your cortisol levels are high. I know all
Yes,
about
I can
cortisol.
imagine.
I'm
I am
middle
very
of the
fidgety.
menopause, so yes, the cortisol levels. I'm going to keep you there. Attention.
Yeah.
Ahora, when you relax, como tú dijiste, the
Sí, sí,
weekends
sí.
you relax.
When I
How?
relax,
Pasa los weekends.
¿Cómo se
do.
relaja?
I
Cristian
persona
Santos.
I find it very difficult
Claro.
because I'm
Wanna
always
pintar.
on. I'm always switched on. Like my
Claro.
head is always thinking. Now, when I do, I really do. Like I do nothing. I sit down and I watch TV and I stay. Como mira, yesterday.
When you crash, you crash.
Sí. When I crash, I just go, this is my time to recover. And then acuérdate tú that I work harder during term time. I have big breaks. And those big breaks, even though I'm still doing and I'm still going, it's a bit of a chilled moment for me. Y ahora, when you tell me to relax, I can, mira, yo me quedo tranquilo. But I'm constantly
Sí, pero
on.
are
I'm
you
fidgeting.
watching TV
Yeah.
during your crashing moment?
Yeah.
Y en verdad es mentira porque está tirado, pero está pensando, mira eso, interesante.
Sí, pero that's relaxed for me. I can't not be doing anything
Yes, you can.
at all.
He can't.
I
Él no,
can't. I don't.
But you can.
Yeah, I
Mira,
can. Yeah.
Who or what has inspired you? So, you started your tenure, and is there anything that inspires you?
Yes, I'll tell you. The people that walk into City Hall and tell me their stories, tell me what they do, tell me what they're working towards, that's been the most inspiring thing that I didn't expect.
But what do you mean? People just at random
People
who walk
I-
in and say they want to
No,
see
people
you?
I meet, for example. I wanted to celebrate our community.
Yes.
And I did it in a way that I thought, oh, yes, it's going to be very on the surface. But then, for example, let's say there's a charity. The first charity I worked with was Breast Cancer Support Gibraltar. I thought, oh, they do their own little walks. And then I sit with them and I think, my gosh, you do 100 things more than I thought you ever did. And then I get involved. How can I help you? How can I cross promote what you do so that people like me will get this side? Because I'm sure that people that follow you know what you do. But then people like me will get their pound and think, oh, great, they'll donate it to a nice cause. And I'll go and do my little walk with them. But that's what I've tried to use my platform for, to give other people and their work a different audience. Because they've provided equipment for the cancer unit here. They've helped women with support and everything. Like they've done so many things. And then, of course, the people involved. You learn about their stories and why they got involved. And that's one charity. I've worked with all organizations, with young people like Nautilus. I didn't know what Nautilus did really. I thought, oh, they're helping the environment. And it kind of stayed there and then you sit with them. They do beach cleanups, they do promotions, they do
have a
all
lab.
different times.
I've been watching
Have you
those
told
this
us?
weekend,
So-
testing the water and the
Exactamente.
particles.
And they've got the new one for the orcas as well,
Yeah.
which is really good because what came out recently in the news about the orcas attacking the...
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not true. It's not true. Un pollo en particular, son
Yeah, yeah,
juveniles, están jugando.
Sí, sí, sí,
So
sí.
that's not what is being portrayed in the media.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's good
it's
that
interesting
we've got this local organization that can set that
Yeah, yeah.
straight. Porque después ya empezamos con los
Yeah.
rumores, los false news and stuff like that.
Pero eso es lo que pasa. Que digo, all these people have inspired me.
Yeah.
They do, and I've said all the time.
Pero that's not.
Yes.
Pero ¿quién ha sido, o si tiene o no tiene, tu motivation siempre, tu muse, tu role model?
Role model.
Yeah.
I have
Some do, some don't.
a lot of people who've influenced my life. My role models, Charlie and Helen Chappie, who taught me music, Christine Thompson, Jim Penny, who taught me acting. A lot of people in my life have taught me a lot. But I've had to, I'm the type of person who has had to survive and keep my head above water because of where my situation was as a young person, where I was born in 1977. So I grew up late 80s, 90s, right? So imagine you are a young kid who's finding out who you are, your sexuality, your identity, in a time when that isn't really accepted or normal, who wants to go into the entertainment business when that isn't really the thing to do,
Yeah.
because no one really did that, when I wanted that to be my career. So at the same time, I was finding myself walking forward and having people tell me that what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do or who I was wasn't acceptable.
Of course not.
Nothing about me was acceptable. So I have the most supportive family
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
friends
say,
always.
did
No,
they
that wasn't my
always-
family.
Did
Yeah.
they always support you from the word
Yeah.
go?
My
when-
family was, I'm the youngest. So by the time I got there, my
Yeah.
parents were like, do what you
Haz lo
want,
que
you know what
quieras.
you're doing, haz lo que quiera. So my parents, before anything, they were parents. They were parents. And their job was to support me. Would my mum have preferred at the time for me to have been a lawyer? Please. Or a teacher? Please. Of course, I was an academic child.
Were
But
you? You
that's-
were an academic child?
Yeah. I was a very academic child. So I could have done anything academic that I wanted to,
See,
but
I
I
didn't
just
know that about.
didn't
Well, I
want to
know
be
you were
there.
intelligent, but I didn't realize you were like.
When I wasn't like Seneca,
What
but
did
I
you?
was
What
very
did you do?
academic.
How did you do in your A levels? Did you do really well?
ABC.
Very good.
Yeah.
And uni as well, I guess.
Yeah. And then I got my.
Where did you go to
I went to
uni?
Nottingham Trent.
Okay.
Because remember, I went at the time when I wanted to do a creative thing, and I didn't want to go and do classical music.
So what did you do?
I did creative arts. So I did. I went to Nottingham Trent, and creative arts was fine art, performance, music, and dance all together. And then you chose a specialty at the end, and I chose music and performing arts. And then I went to a vocational school in London. I went to Conservatoire, to Mount View Theatre School, which is one of the top 2 schools for musical theatre. And I did acting and musical theatre there. And then I started working.
And you loved every minute.
I loved every minute, but this is where I was going with it. So, role model, someone to look up to, was very difficult. What I've had is an admiration for everyone who has supported me,
Yes.
and I keep them there. And my friends are my friends from when I was a child. I've got a lot of new friends, but all my friends are always like long-standing. I have very few people who are like, they're my friend for a period of time. They're my friends. And my family is my family, and they've always supported me. But I had to find my own path. And I had to fight my own battles within myself to accept who I was in order to continue being who I am. So,
And is that
yeah.
is that difficult to accept who you are?
Yes,
because
it
you're
is.
born the way you are. This is
Yes.
not something that you are the way
Because
you are.
there's,
End of.
there's so many. It is what you said before that struck with me. It wasn't only the fact that you were gay. Después también what you wanted to study.
Exactly.
La frontera cerrada.
Yeah,
La
yes.
mentalidad de cerrar. Con
Yeah,
que
yeah.
era como no.
Sí, sí.
So
For me, it was that. And it's difficult to think. Now we talk about it very openly. Now there's people like me who kids see and they know, okay, it's okay. Like, I can do that. I didn't really have that.
No.
When you think that I'm 46. It's only 30 years this year that homosexuality was legalized.
That's
I
right.
spent the first 16 years of my life where my lifestyle wasn't legal. So, and then you have to hear what people have to say about it, because people still say it
Yes,
now.
they do.
Pero before it was even worse. The only reflection I saw of a gay person was being ridiculed in the media. You die of AIDS.
Yeah.
That's what it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
Or you were a drag queen, or you were made fun of, you were beaten up. That's what I saw. So I had this inner fight. I remember, I always say this to my friend Tanya, who remembers this. When I was young, do you remember the New Year's show in La Primera Cadena, 1988,
Sí.
with Sabrina, and she
Sí.
sang Boys, Boys.
And her
Bueno, it was
boobs
hot,
popped
her boobs
out.
popped out.
Yes.
I was obsessed with that. And I got obsessed with Sabrina and had posters of Sabrina all over.
But why?
And I remember being a child
Porque
and
por el
thinking,
freedom.
no, I just got obsessed with it, with her. And she became my thing. And I remember being a child and thinking, yes, I'm not gay. Yeah. I remember thinking that and thinking, yes, I'm not gay. And then it happened with when I was over the moon about it. In my head, I was
Sí.
obsessed with it. I had posters.
So that young, how young did you know?
I was at a time when you know you're different. And other people tell you, I didn't think, I'm different. I just
10, 11,
people tell
12.
you.
No.
People tell you all your life.
Younger?
I'm watching right now a documentary on Netflix about an NFL player who came
Yeah.
out. He knew when he was 6. Vale?
You know you're different.
And the important thing that he said, which resonates with what you said now, is that he used to, he's very, very, very religious, and
Yeah.
he used to pray the gay away.
Yeah. You pray,
Please,
yeah?
please God,
Please,
don't let
please,
me
no,
be
please
gay.
don't let me be gay.
Because I'm
Please-
not. But
please God, don't let me be
really,
gay.
Is that must be really difficult.
Now it's different. And even now, kids go through tough times.
They do.
But there is a safety that they can speak about it. And kids come out much younger.
Yes.
But for me, I remember being 11 at that age. I remember always being different and not feeling different, but people tell you you're different.
Sí.
Es algo que digo, and you're like, oh, okay. And then I remember, me pasó lo mismo con Kate Winslet when I saw, because I was old, remember? I remember watching Titanic.
You can see her boobs
And I
in
was
Titanic.
obsessed with
Yes.
Kate Winslet when and then you realize that the gays love the divas. So any diva moment, that's all what it's about. But I remember
didn't
when she
understand
first
this at
came
your
out.
age.
So in your head, were you, tú estabas,
No, I
loves the
thought
divas.
I
estabas en love con
tried.
ella, pero
I
no.
tried
You
to
were
be
in love
straight.
with what she represented.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, you love that type of woman, and you love how
brilliant.
strong.
She's
But
brilliant.
you
But
really
she
do.
wasn't the heroine, she allowed him to drown.
Yeah.
Te lié. Y let him
But
drown.
you-
Había sitio en la puerta.
Yeah. You really try not to be gay.
Yeah.
I really tried,
Yeah.
and it was like, and it got to a point where I just thought,
Yeah. Mira, this guy that I'm talking about, he went into The Bachelor.
yeah, yes, I know,
went
I saw
into
him,
it.
Colton Haynes, no?
Colton, Colton Haywood or something, and he went in, and afterwards, the girl and him broke up, and he's still obsessed over her, and the reason was because he knew that the moment he wasn't
Yeah.
obsessed with her or she was not in his life, he knew that was the end of his pretense de
Yeah,
que
yeah,
no
yeah.
era gay,
Yeah.
because it was too much, it was too big.
And then you realize that everyone knew. Everyone knows. I knew everyone knew around me. The battle was mine with myself. And then that's why I am so vocal now about being who you are, but not just your sexuality,
No,
anything.
everything.
Because for me, the same battle had to go with, I'm going to cantar. When are you going to get a real job? That was, I'm thinking, man, I don't need to be an accountant. And that's
pero
why
aquí-
whatever you
aquí
are.
es así.
Sí, pero I.
Tanto ya.
I remember being told.
Sí,
I
I
remember being
young
told.
kids.
I did history of art, and I remember being told by someone, sí, otro Mickey Mouse degree.
Sí.
Otro
That's
Mickey
good.
Mouse
Y ahora
degree.
pasa, aquí como, you want to do singing, yes, but do something to fall back, or no. Do the PGC, or
Sí.
do your AAT, or hazlo después.
Sí.
It's like, wait a second, we don't all need to be lawyers and
No,
accountants and
no,
teachers. We can be, there's so many jobs, there's so
Aquí no,
much to do.
pero aquí no.
Eso es lo
Aquí
que
es
decimos.
esto.
Ok, pero espérate.
No, but I don't
Yo
mean what's
vine-
on offer. I don't mean what's on offer. I mean the mentally.
Yes.
Aquí hay
Sí,
hecho.
porque yo, when I first came back and I was performing, and my mom said, ¿cómo que va a venir a hacer un production company? Si aquí no hay de eso. Y digo, exactamente.
Exactly.
Exactamente. Voy ahí y voy a hacer esto.
Yes.
Pero por eso I'm very vocal to tell young kids, you do what makes you happy. Be who you want to be, because that's the only thing that you can be. And you're going to save a lot of time and a lot of heartache by just being who you are.
Yeah.
Have the rough times you're going to have, pero don't have them with yourself. Porque yo lo digo siempre, the hardest coming out was to myself. Everyone else knew. Everyone else was like, okay. I mean, nadie me, oh, what a shocker. It was like,
Eso como
we all knew.
Do you remember when Michael Stipe came out?
Ariane,
Ariane, ¿vale? When he came out,
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean you're coming out? Yo me creí que iba a decir que tenía
I thought you
AIDS.
were- sí,
Porque
sí,
estaba
sí.
tan delgado el pobre. Y era,
My
como,
gosh.
era como, really?
Yeah.
Pero claro, for him, it was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
big
yeah.
deal
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say it.
It
Mira,
is.
and your This Is Me campaign,
This
This Is Me, the
We are one.
We Are One. But isn't there a song called This Is Me that you sing?
Sí,
with-
This
Yeah,
is
but that's
me,
not the choir. No, I don't.
Ah, that's
the
The campaign encompasses what I wanted to do with the
We Are
community.
One, say
We Are
that.
One campaign. I'll tell you. It's what I wanted to do with that under the banner of We Are One is to celebrate everyone in the community and show that every person in the community is a part of the jigsaw puzzle that makes our community.
That's right.
Everyone has different achievements. So every achievement is valid. You don't need to discover the vaccine to the next,
Yeah.
to be an achievement. Your achievement can be to sell bracelets and make 80 pounds. That could be an amazing achievement for someone. Every achievement is valid. So I wanted to make everyone feel celebrated. You make our community special. We are all one community, whatever you do. And we've had amazing moments here at City Hall because we've had check presentations for over £170,000 here. Not that we've raised necessarily, but that we've hosted here. And that's just here. And you think, goodness, we've had from 27,000 to a few £100. But everything that people have achieved for me is of value.
Yeah.
And the fact that you include everyone, the fact
Yes.
that you have been a mayor, I think, that has been in lots of different events. This weekend, for example,
Yes.
the 5 and 5
Yes.
challenge. There you were at whatever time it was in the evening when they finished their swimming
I
session.
ran as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did 10K out of the 21 because I hadn't trained enough for the 21. So I did 10K and then I stayed and I welcomed them
That
back
in
from
itself,
there.
you know, what they did, those guys,
Yeah,
was
that's amazing.
incredible for 5 days. And then they raised, I don't know how much in the end.
It's not completed.
They
yet,
wanted
so-
to
not.
raise 15,000.
No, they've
they've
raised
got
more.
more.
They've got
Sure.
more. It's nearly
I didn't
30
know.
grand. I
The day
think.
after they
Double.
finished, I
Yeah.
saw Charles
Hmm?
Harrison.
Oh, his.
He
did
was,
you see
he was
his?
running y le digo, you finished yesterday. So, bueno, no, it's all cool down.
Yeah, the recovery run.
So they're still going.
They've finished,
No, they
but the money
finished.
finishes in a few weeks.
Sí.
It's incredible. But
Sí,
then you-
the
my thing was-
15,000 was como just giving.
Yeah.
Pero después they've been getting money from other
other
places, con que
I
todavía
think
no se sabe.
it's really important that you've gone to the people.
Yeah.
Do you know? It sounds really badly to say you've gone to your people,
No.
but you're there. You're there at the forefront with young people, with charities, with different communities, different religions.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of photos coming through of what's happening here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the first time I've
Yeah.
been here.
Hombre.
I've been downstairs to the exhibitions.
Okay, if you're going to
And-
have something that says we are one,
Yeah.
and then you are
But-
not there.
The doors are
be
always
one
open.
with
I've
them.
never seen that before here, Christian, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Are you, I mean, I don't know, previously, what
There's been
happened.
everyone's done different things. A lot of people have done a lot of things. For me, it's easier, and I've got social media to show everyone as well. But for me, it's been that. It's been what's going on. If I am going to be the civic representative of the people of Gibraltar, I want everyone to look at what I'm doing and say, yes, I feel represented by that. He's been to meet me. He's been here.
Yeah.
He represents. I can't do this, but he's done it for me.
Yeah.
Like for me, running those 10K is I'm running this for everyone that would love to take part and can't.
Y no puede. That's
Pues yo lo
right.
hago.
That's
like
right.
that's how I've tried to do everything. I've been to visit the older generation. Kids have come here. I've been all over because for me it's very important to try and make everyone feel like I represent them. It's very easy to be an us and them type of role that I've tried to be like, no, this is your home and I'm the caretaker for 2 years, but this is open to all of you to come in whenever you want. And
Yeah, do you feel you've done a good job?
I am very proud of what I've done because I've set out to do the best that I can do. And I think I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. And I hope that that's enough for everyone.
No te ha quedado con nada que you...
Pues eso no me puede decir porque yo siempre
Se
quiero
queda
estar
con-
cediendo.
se queda con-
Siempre me
se-
quedo con
siempre
nada.
quiere más.
Pero I've done everything I've wanted to do at the time. I'm sure there's someone who thinks, pues yo no he ido.
So-
I'm sorry, I'd have loved to have had the whole of Gibraltar here.
I'm going to ask you a difficult question. What overall improvement would you like to see in Gib right now? Bit of a-
It's difficult because in a society and a community like the one we have, which is very small, we are a micro community compared to the world. The world needs to look at things with a different point of view. And what happens in Gibraltar is that we see it in la calle. We see it here. You have access to everyone. What I would love to see improved in Gibraltar is not necessarily a physical. Those things are easily changed. Te limpia la calle. Bueno, si se pasa un hose de agua, se limpia. Like, we all have our opinions of what can make Gibraltar better. What I think we need to do is look at everything with love. And I don't mean it in a patronizing way, but we need to look at things with a little bit more compassion and people and think that on the other side of what your actions are, there is someone receiving it.
That's right.
So I've learned that your words are very powerful and there's someone at the other end. So there's a lot that goes on, a lot of opinions, a lot of things that people free speech. Yes. Free speech doesn't necessarily give you
The right
the
to say
right
whatever you
to
want.
say whatever you want
That's right.
about without thinking of the consequences
That's
that
right.
then can bring.
That's
So
right.
what I think we need to do, I think the world needs to do this. There's a lot happening in the world where a lot of decisions are being made through negativity and hate. And I'm not a preacher, the world peace and all that. It's not that. We need to be more compassionate as people and
kinder,
know,
and
yes,
kind.
just kinder, and know that whatever you say has an impact on someone else. Just be conscious of that, maybe.
Yes.
And maybe our attitudes would change.
That's why I mention a lot, siempre, que yo creo que I mention it in every single podcast we do. El Janito, at the moment, has become very selfish, very negative, very critical, porque estamos como en un spiral. Estamos stuck. And we lack the compassion, we lack the empathy, because there's a lot of frustration.
I don't think that's El Janito. Eh? I think that's worldwide. We all want to. We've come out of a very difficult time.
Yes.
Y mientras que hay eso en
Sí,
Gibraltar,
pero,
there is.
pero por ejemplo, en otros países tú no conoces a
Eso es lo
casi
que pasa,
todo
que
el
you don't
mundo.
know them.
Pero aquí sí.
Sí,
So we have to use that as a positive instead of as a negative.
Yes,
En vez de
agreed.
decir yo sé esa o lo que sea, piensa, pues mira, en verdad sé de esa
Sí.
persona y esto y esto y esto. We don't. It stops here, and it needs
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
that little bit further
Yeah.
because we do know about each other.
But we also need to not necessarily, como digo una cosa, digo la otra. We can't just focus on that because as much as there is that happening, que lo que digo, lo que pasa que aquí lo tenemos en la calle, lo tenemos de frente. There is still a lot of good in our community and more good than bad, ¿eh?
course,
Porque lo
yes.
que nosotros hacemos for ourselves, aquí le hace falta alguien ayuda y se te echa gente a la calle.
That's right.
And that is something that we have as well that we don't have anywhere else in the world. So, yes, are we a little selfish? We can all be selfish, but I think that we can also take a step back and say, espérate, que aquí, and we've just spoken about it, aquí, charities
It's massive, yes.
is massive
Yes,
and we are
yes.
giving people, and as much as you can see, this is the one thing, we get negativity, but let's say online, we get 10 positive comments, 2 negatives. Pero lo que los 10 positive no cuentan para nada. Te queda con los 2 negatives.
That's right.
So we feel that everything is negative. But when I look back and I'll say at the beginning, when people had an opinion on whether I was mayor or not, yo me quedaba con lo malo.
Sí.
Pero que en ese post había 200 comments, 35, 50 malo, but 200 were good.
Yeah.
Es que those 200 you're like, take for granted. Y eso es lo que pasa, que even though we had some negativity and some negative moments as a community, the majority is good.
Sí. No, I'm not saying it's
No,
all
I know what
negative.
you mean, pero...
What I'm saying is that unfortunately a lot of the things that have become really big issues are only big issues ya.
Yeah.
Porque la gente no quieren poner de su parte. That's what annoys me. There's a lot of
a-
Amorite Jack.
There's a lot of
Sí,
whingers
sí.
as well.
Sí.
A lot of people who whinge a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've got to hurry up a little bit. I've got one interesting question to ask you.
Well, the other's not interesting.
The others are
I
really,
thought the others are really
the others are
interesting.
interesting, but this
Super
one is a bit
interesting.
weird.
Okay.
Even weirder. Can you tell us something about you that people don't know that would surprise us?
Goodness
Because I'm
me.
sure you've got something up your sleeve that you could reveal
More
exclusively.
random.
I'm asking my friend who's there.
She doesn't want to come in.
She doesn't want to come in, but
One of the things that not a lot of people know about his worship is he's a great foodie.
Oh, I
Well,
think
yes, but
I've
okay,
seen pictures
yes,
of when
so-
he travels and the pictures
yeah.
that he takes when he
That's
goes
not
to
very surprising because I post it all, but I'm a huge foodie. Like my life is ruled by food, whether it's
No, yo quiero
plenty
algo más random.
or diet. But
Por
that
ejemplo-
is
por
kind
ejemplo,
of.
yo-
Sí.
Para darte un ejemplo, yo me tomo los cereales con té. And
Okay.
people think it's horrendous.
Yeah.
And I've been at people's houses de chica y me echaba el té en los cereales y decían, ¿qué hace?
Bueno,
Bueno.
pero mira, it's,
hay random.
a mí no me da asco, pero it's random.
It's random. So
I,
something random, me will tell you.
Oh my goodness.
Well, maybe something
I-
you like to eat that's a bit weird.
No, but you know what? I eat everything
combination
except,
of-
except prawns. My thing is, I don't know if people would be surprised too, but I kind of I make sense of life through my own fantasy world where I disappear. I disappear into my own thoughts where it's my own little kingdom and it's my own reality. And that is what makes me live in this world, knowing that whenever the going gets tough, I can go into my own one where I am the king and I rule whatever's happening there.
I think we all
Do
do
you
that.
actually
Yeah.
role play as you're walking around thinking about it? Because I do.
Just say.
I talk to myself
I talk to myself all the
like
time.
I'm in that kingdom that
Yes,
you've
yes,
just
yes.
mentioned.
Y tú tienes un soundtrack.
But
Tú vas por la calle y tienes un soundtrack. I have a
Not
soundtrack.
I have a soundtrack.
Claro.
You remember Ali McBeal, that series from the
Claro.
90s? I'm very bit like that.
I have a
Like where you
soundtrack.
have your own soundtrack, you hear your own
Sí.
sound effects. But that's what keeps me sane, eh?
What about seeing people? It's a super random. What about seeing people in color? ¿Vale? As in, el vibe que te da esa persona they have a color.
Like an aura. No, I don't see that.
No, I don't go that far.
Sí.
La verdad que no.
Okay, I'll tell you.
There's
actually
someone that you and I know.
Yeah.
Que yo miro a esa persona y esa persona es black.
Oh, por Dios.
Oh.
Ahora me lo dice off camera. I'll tell you something that I do when I am, you know, when you, and I've just thought of it now. You know, when you told me what do you do when you're relaxing?
Yeah.
I need to keep my mind active, even when I'm relaxing. Ahora, yo explico esto y nadie me entiende. I keep my mind, it's like brain workout, you know? And I think when I'm stopped doing nothing, I decide to spell a word, but to a head. So for example, strawberry, as opposed to saying S-T-R-A, I land on the third word. So the first one is S, no? QRS. QRS, RST,
Oh my gosh.
PQR, YZA,
Yeah.
UVW,
I do words backwards.
ZAB.
Yo no, yo lo
Yeah.
hago, yo hago
Vamos que me lo
you're
tengo que hacer
thinking-
rápido, así yo como strawberry, QRS, RST, PQR,
You think-
YZA, to keep my mind working. Like that's my brain exercise. I do that all the
But
time.
when
I
you
spell
see,
words.
like you see a
If I'm
word
nothing to do, like if you say,
And you've always
Cantarell.
done it random or lo viste en algún lado.
I do it random. I've always done it because they go, how can I brain workout?
Yes.
So there's Cantarell, I go ABC, YZA, LMN, BCD, CDE, PQR, CDE, JKL.
Larry's used to it.
Because I'm used to it.
Qué cosa.
Yeah, en el que hace landing, and that's what keeps my
Eso
brain
es the best
working.
answer.
How
Very impressed with
interesting.
that.
Nadie me entiende nunca.
No.
Because
I get
Very
it.
random.
I get it in the sense that I understand porque yo también hago mi cosa, pero eso es
Eso es, sí,
bastante.
eso takes the,
no, but
takes the badge.
that's a workout. Like I'm
Yes.
I'm gonna keep my mind on point. So ¿qué digo? So like, how can I keep it working? Like un poco workout como el que va jogging.
Qué funny.
La gente, pero there's people that do those brain workouts,
Sudoku,
like Professor
I can't
Layton and
say.
Sudoku and stuff, and I don't have time to sit and do that. So I do that.
Qué weird.
Greatest achievement in your role. So we're talking about the role.
Eso tenía yo, like memorable.
Yeah. The most
Or
memorable.
what's the most outstanding?
I kind of already answered, which is
Being yourself.
really which is getting to work with people locally and know what they do. That's my biggest achievement. But I've had a great time in office. I've had the coronation. I've had,
Yeah.
the royal visit. I've
Yeah.
been through the death of like the longest running monarch. I did a half marathon that raised £27,000. I've been to visit all types of different people. We've had 2 freedoms of the city.
Yes, recently.
Yeah,
What about- what
one
about-
last year. And
Something that somebody has said to you.
I've had very nice things said to me this time round, and it really has been. I had someone say to me, not in one of our farewells, they said, "Thank you very much for making me feel like I belonged." And that for me is what I strive for. I really, really do. I really want to make everyone feel like they have a place, like you belong wherever it is you are. And that for me really was a point where I thought, okay, I've done it. Enough. Everything else means nothing anymore,
Right,
kind of. I've already
right,
achieved what I wanted to do.
Right.
At least one person.
Yeah. Excellent.
Oh, emotive, no? It's emotive to hear that. Mina, one last thing. What's next for you? So now when do you leave actually? 'Cause this is coming out in a couple of weeks. By the
So I
time
will
it's
have
out-
left already a few
Yes.
weeks from
so
now.
what? You're going on a big holiday?
I've actually got my end of term show, which is my big show next week, which is a few weeks ago. And then it's summer break. So I'm going to kind of enjoy my time with giving back my time to my husband who needs.
Good. So where are you going? Going
time.
anywhere special?
We're just going to a little flat we've got in Spain, and we're just going to chill with our friends,
Muy bien.
chill with my family here. Then in the summer, I'm going to go and compete in the UK. With the play that we won the Drama Festival,
Oh,
we got into the
Wow.
All Winners Festival, the top 14 plays of the whole of the UK.
Wow.
So we're going to compete there and see if we do well, and then enjoy the summer, carry on with Gamper, and see where life takes me.
I can't thank you enough, honestly, for
At
giving
all.
up your time, for being on Street Talk with Dav.
It's a pleasure to have you. It's
We
great
should
to
have
catch
done
up
it a
with
long
you. To be
time
honest.
before. So yeah,
¿Verdad?
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.